They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of SlashLot, a little bit of a bonus episode. I am here, Sam the Damned Lenz, with my co-host, Casey the Killer Kelderman. How are you doing, Casey?
I'm doing fantastic, Sam. I'm excited.
Awesome. You know, we just kind of decided to do this on a whim, so I don't know. We're not doing fresh meat until the next episode, right?
No. We'll wait for Mr.
I was about to say.
Blakenstein Ginnathan to come back, and we'll do a big fresh meat.
Yeah, it'll be dope.
We'll have a little, we have a little fresh meat in here, just a sample.
Yeah.
It's like an appetizer of fresh meat because of our topic.
Yes, for sure. Because today we wanted to talk to you guys about Halloweenapalooza. It's a little horror con that Casey and I went to this past weekend in Ottumwa, Iowa, at the haunted Hotel Ottumwa, where we met Scream Queen Kelli Maroney, Lynn Lowry, and Brink Stevens, and got to dig through VHS bins and look at a bunch of cool custom horror clothes and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of merchandise, just kind of a horror lover's dream. And we got to screen a few movies while we were there too. So it was a lot of fun, and we just wanted to kind of break it down for you guys.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk about this because kind of backstory on Halloweenapalooza. I first heard about it like 4-5 years ago. And me and Kayla had always been like, we need to go to that. We need to go because it is the closest horror convention that we have to us in Sioux Falls. So it was always like, yeah, we need to go. And they always get awesome guests. Like they've had just in the last couple of years, they've had, Halloween, actresses, icons. They've had, I'm going to butcher her name. Tommy Lee Wallace's ex-girlfriend, wife, from the first Halloween movie, In the Fog. What's her name?
She plays Annie?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on it?
Anyway, they've had her. They've had the Children of the Corn actors from the first movie. Having that in Iowa is a very cool
Keys?
thing. Nancy Loomis.
Yeah.
Is what she's. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, geez,
cool.
I can't think of it. My bad. And then this year they had awesome themes of Scream Queens, 80s horror icons. And yeah, it was. This year was like, yeah, this is finally the year we have to go, and it's put on by our buddies from Attack of the Killer podcast.
Yeah. So
definitely
check them out if you like horror.
Absolutely. I mean, Jason and Mike have been doing horror-themed stuff for over 20 years. So we got to meet Jason at the show. Mike was hosting Rocky Horror, and then we met Tad. Yeah. Tad is awesome too. Former guest on many shows that we've done here. Future guest of SlashLot. We need to get him on SlashLot.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I don't know. What about you, Sam? What was your overall first impressions, thoughts on our fun horror weekend?
Well, I knew you had talked about it before. I'd never actually seen anything of it myself until this year you sent me that Kelli Maroney of Chopping Mall and Night of the Comet fame was going to be there, and that pretty much cemented that. I was like, yeah, we better actually make it. Like, for me personally, that was like the main reason for going out. Everybody knows I love Chopping Mall, I love Night of the Comet, and I love Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That's not horror, but she's also in that too. So it was just fun. We took it was about a 5.5 hour road trip, and we went with Kayla and Maria, and it was just fun. Like, we hung out, joked around, talked movies, listened to some emo music on the way down. And yeah, then
Yeah.
I mean, we got there and there was so much. I guess my first reaction was like a little bit overwhelmed. I kind of started sweating. Um, my anxiety got a little the best of me at one point. Yeah, first night I ended up having a panic attack, which was weird. I was something, but it was so much fun. It was just, I think there was just so much going on. My brain was just not processing all of it. Um, but yeah, there's this cool like Death Stitch custom clothing that had like upcycled shirts essentially that they had stitched custom patches on and things like that from horror movies. So I think we all got a little something from that. And um, our friend of the show, Dylan Jacobson, was there as well,
Mm-hmm.
selling art prints. And yeah, it was so much fun. The hotel itself is very old,
Mm-hmm.
and it's in kind of a little bit like not necessarily run down part of town, but the way we came in, it was it was like the side of town that maybe was the oldest, and so it was a little creepy driving in.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to the hotel and it's very, very old. There are actually some buildings around it that are closed and shuttered. And so it was very intense going
It
in.
kind of like added to the experience though. Like driving into
Yeah.
town, it was like, oh, this is kind of just regular small town Iowa in a way, especially
Yeah.
like a riverside town, which you get a lot of those in Iowa. But it was kind of like this opening experience. Like you watch this horror movie and you're driving up and down this windy road and finally you make one turn and there's the house, the creepy old house, or the creepy hotel in this case. That's kind of how I felt when we got past like certain buildings that
Yeah.
were blocking the view. It was like, oh, there's the hotel, and it was just kind of like this big ominous thing that we were about to spend a weekend in. It was kind of cool though. Like it was very cool that we had that experience with it. And yeah, I didn't know what to expect going into this, and I was obviously very pleasantly surprised because this is one of the most laid back cons. It's also one of the most like you can experience the full thing and have a different type of experience than you would at a bigger convention. You don't have to wait in any lines. Like there's 0 lines to wait in. You get to really hang out with the guests and other vendors. You really get to know them, kind of make some new friends along with that.
Yeah.
And I always think that's very cool to do at a convention because, I mean, we were just a week removed from SuperCon for us here in Sioux Falls. And like you said, Sam, after that, it felt like you were leaving summer camp. Well, then the next week we went to another convention, and you said the same thing. It's like I feel like I'm leaving summer camp again.
It was like I can't do this to myself 2 weekends in a row. I was very emotional Sunday, like it was kind of crazy. Just like there's that come down from a really cool experience for sure.
Mm-hmm. So should we go through kind of our day to day, what we all did, maybe some of our purchases? I don't know if you have any of yours. Handy.
They're all stacked up in the living room, but I can run and grab them for sure.
Okay, if
my
you want
microphone's in my AirPods anyways, so I can keep talking.
Oh, look at that! We're just gonna get a view of Sam's movie collection behind him. So I can start. Friday. What do we do on Friday though, Sam?
Well, Friday we got in, and Kelly was there. Well, actually, no one was there at first. So we kind of like went and checked out the hotel rooms. Through happenstance, I had a whirlpool tub suite because I booked my room late and that was the only thing they had. So that was kind of fun though. And the elevator was old and it made some funny noises and it was a little scary because I just get nervous in elevators anyways. We took the stairs down because the elevator was creepy and the stairs were somehow worse.
Somehow creepier, yeah.
Yeah. When we came back down after having gotten settled in our rooms, Kelly was there and we decided to walk around before we met her, mainly because I instantly started sweating and I was like, I think I need to take a lap.
And I mean, when we did though, we walked around, all the vendors. We were one of the first people there. We were one of the few like out of towners, the ones traveling from a decent distance, at least out of staters. We were, so we were one of the first ones there, and it was cool to just walk around, kind of get a vibe for the convention, where everything is, who some of the vendors are. I mean, immediately I was like, yeah, I'm going to spend way too much money this weekend, but that's okay because I love all this stuff. I'm wearing one of the things I bought. Not going to show it off yet. If you want to see it, come to the State Theater screening of The Fly, and you'll see it.
Hell yeah!
And then we bought 2 more flannels.
Same
like
with
this.
Me. I should wear my vest tonight.
You should definitely wear your vest tonight, Sam.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but the stuff we bought. So this is from is it Death Stitch? Is that what it's called? Correct.
Yep, Death Stitch custom clothing.
And they take basically like Cavity Colors or like those type of boutique horror T-shirt labels or any cool horror designs, and they stitch them to like flannels or vests or sweatshirts, like things like that, and it just makes for a very cool custom horror clothing. And yeah, I mean, extremely reasonably priced. Like you go to any other big convention, you're paying some close to a crispy one for a shirt like this. Yeah, these were very reasonably priced and great material. Like I love this shirt that I have, and I know
and it's all upcycled too, so it's cool. Like it's not, And
one other thing we both spent way too much money on, more so you than me, is some VHS tapes. But that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, when one guy was selling them for $3 a piece, you can't go wrong with it.
You can't pass that up.
Even one of the vendors who was selling tapes at probably what you'd pay for them on like eBay was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go buy some for $3."
Yeah, and he did. He actually bought more than me, but he also made money that weekend, and I did not. So I mean, I can definitely go through my my stacks here. So
yeah, if you do that, I'll grab mine really quick.
Okay, so my first stack is I got 22 movies in total, which is kind of insane, but that's okay. The first one I got Tremors. I love Tremors. Tremors is great. We just watched Tremors at the State. We did a whole episode on Patreon, on the Backlot Patreon, about Tremors at the State, and I saw this on VHS. Of course I was going to pick it up. I also got Young Frankenstein, which the State is going to be playing later this week. Actually, this weekend. Yeah, I want to say, or maybe a week from this weekend. Yeah, next weekend. The State will be playing Young Frankenstein. You bet I'll be there. It's one of my favorite comedies of all time. Also, in the vein of Mel Brooks, I found Spaceballs, not horror, but a lot of fun.
Convention, yeah.
Yeah, it's at a horror convention. So yeah, Young Frankenstein, Spaceballs. Man, how could you ever want anything else from Mel Brooks? Well, guess what? I also have Dracula Dead and Loving It. Yeah, I'm a Mel Brooks fan, and I love this movie. All you haters, sorry. It's hilarious. I don't care.
I will watch it during Dracula month. I will watch it during Dracula month on Backlot.
You should. It's incredible. I love it. Not horror, but I also got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
I mean, it does have ninja rap in it.
Yes. It's amazing. I also got the Stephen King classic Pet Sematary, directed by the great Mary Lambert. She's so sweet on Twitter. You should definitely follow her. I got another Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. Different case this time. You can never have too much Scooby-Doo. Speaking of werewolves, I got one of my favorite horror comedies of the 1980s, Teen Wolf, starring Michael J. Fox. Wonderful. Special collector series. Don't know what that means, but
it's going in your collection. That's what that means.
Yeah. This one, I got Beetlejuice, which I know Casey already has, so it's not as exciting to him, but I was pretty stoked.
I mean, you should. It's one of the greatest horror movies ever made.
Oh, I love it. Mm-hmm. I also got a sealed The Crow, literally, like, it's sealed. $3. I was like ecstatic when I found it. And speaking of what we're seeing tonight at the State Theater,
ooh,
the Fly double feature. I have both the Vincent Price original and the remake from David Cronenberg.
And you somehow didn't pick up the Fly too.
Oh yeah, they did have that. I was like, nah, I don't need it.
I'm good.
I'm already spending way too much money anyways. Okay, so let's round it out with, I've got a few more stacks here. Like I said, I got 22 movies total. I got The Bride of Chucky, which I can't wait. I'm going to watch the first episode of the Chucky series this weekend. I'm waiting for Maria. It's been excruciating. I have Urban Legend, which we've covered on SlashLot. Love this movie. One of my favorite post-Scream slashers.
Does not star Jared Leto.
No, Jared Leto was never in that movie, according to him. I got recent backlot watch, Darkman, which I know Casey also got. I know he got his copy first, and I was extremely jealous until I found my own. And then I got this one I've never seen before called Spaced Invaders that the vendor told me was really funny, that he watched a lot during childhood. It's about aliens that come down to Earth during Halloween, and everybody just thinks they're trick-or-treaters. And I was like, that sounds hilarious, so I'm definitely going to pick that up. It's $3. What could go wrong? I now have...
Holy crap.
A Universal Monsters stack. Dracula, Frankenstein, The Invisible Man, The Mummy, and Creature from the Black Lagoon. The Dracula even has the Philip Glass alternate score. And the Frankenstein one is the uncut, the remastered one. From what?
I was going to say, for more talk on the Dracula with the Philip Glass score, go check out Backlot 605's episode of Dracula, where we talk about Dracula 1931. And shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Listen to me gush about Dwight Fry. And then the crowning jewel now of my video collection, the Piece de Resistance. I found this Night of the Comet VHS at a random vendor stand that only had like 3 VHSs, and this was one of them. And I picked it up, and I got it signed by Kelli Maroney, and I got a picture with her, and it was incredible. And I also gave her a Ghoulfield's art print, and she signed a copy of the Ghoulfield's art print, and that was incredible. And she's like the sweetest person ever, and yeah, she's awesome. If anybody ever gets a chance to meet Kelli Maroney, I highly recommend it because she's awesome. She's not one of those.
As we're talking right now, I believe she has reached her goal for her Night of the Comet costume.
Has she actually reached it? She was 500 away this morning.
I think she reached it. So congrats to Kelli Maroney, which is why one of the reasons why she was at the convention to help raise some funds for that, which is awesome. And she was a sweetheart. We got to talk to her about everything she was in. We got to talk to her about Killer Countdown, even of how Chopping Mall made our 80s top 10, top 20, but was in the top 10 of that list. So that was very cool. I'll start with my shit here with hers. I didn't have a cool art piece. I just wanted a Chopping Mall poster, signed by Kelli Maroney. Says, "Have a nice day." Obviously, one of the great lines of this movie. I kind of regret not asking her to write "Waitress, more butter," because that is my favorite line. You might be
the only person that ever would ask her to do that too.
To write "Waitress, more butter." I'll save that
while
for
you're
next
pulling
time.
out your art piece.
Yeah,
I'll show this off too. She wrote, "Daddy would have given us Uzis" on mine, which is my favorite line from Night of the Comet.
Mm-hmm. I'll go through my 5 VHS tapes I bought.
Hey, it might be 5, but like there are some ones that I am super jealous of in there.
First up, we have Cabin Fever. One I just didn't own. It was $3. Kayla loves this movie. I'm like, yeah, if she says okay to a VHS tape, I'll buy it. That kind of goes with this next one too. I don't love The Ring, but I don't own it on VHS, and it's kind of one of those movies you have to have on VHS.
See, that's the one that I'm like, I'm really jealous of that one. There's another one I'm even more jealous of.
Is it
but
this one?
I love The Ring. Are you going to be mean? Are you going to be mean?
I'm not going to be mean because this is going to end up in your house at some point. You know that, Sam.
I know.
Munster Go Home I found on VHS for $3. I'm going to at least watch it once on VHS. It'll end up in Sam Lenz's house at some point. I can't keep it and not.
Wait, that?
This.
Oh, you don't have to do that.
Oh, it's going to end up in your house at some point. We'll find a way.
Because of trading?
We'll trade. I'm not going to just give it to you, Sam. Come on.
I was like, yeah, no, trust me. I've got some that I think I can lure you in with.
We're like kids on the playground. We're going to end up swapping VHS tapes. Again, Darkman, which we covered on Backlot. I had to pick it up.
Such a good movie. To
add to the Sam Raimi VHS collection. This is actually the one I'm most excited about because I think people that have been in the office know I have a huge obsession with Freddy Krueger merchandise. And I have a whole entire half a wall dedicated to Freddy Krueger. But one that I'm trying to build, and there's just not as much merchandise around it, is the Blair Witch series. And so I own Blair Witch 1 and 2 on VHS. I also own the Sci-Fi Channel special on VHS. I have a Blair Witch McFarlane figure. I have a couple books from Blair Witch. I have a 35 millimeter trailer for Blair Witch 2 Book of Shadows. Thanks to Derek from Backlot, I now have a Blair Witch 2 poster and the first Blair Witch Project poster. And now I have the final VHS to add to the collection, The Sticks and Stones, an exploration of the Blair Witch legend, which is the blockbuster kind of documentary that went along with the release of the Blair Witch. Yep. So that's going awesome. right up with the rest of the Blair Witch stuff in our house. So yeah. But that's really all I bought for VHS tapes, and I didn't find any collectibles, unfortunately. But I did buy a couple flannels. I guess I'm going to ask you a question because I've stayed up many nights since this last weekend thinking of why didn't I buy that, and I want to know if you have one of those. I have one, and it's actually two because it's similar items. I am mad there was 2 Goosebumps puzzles. And I didn't pick them up. Unopened. Yeah. And for some reason or another, I just didn't pick them up. And I'm kicking myself every day since this convention that I did not pick them up.
Mine would be the Nightmare on Elm Street 2 Freddy's Revenge poster. It's no surprise to anybody at SlashLot that I fucking love that movie. Mm-hmm. It's probably the Elm Street movie that I watch the most, full stop. Like, I don't know. I dig it a lot. And they had the British poster, which is the one where it has the bus on the rocks tilting precariously with Freddy floating above it, laughing in the sky. And like, fuck, man, that poster is so good. And it didn't have a price tag on it. I'm weird about, I hate asking what the price is. You know what I mean? Like, I just, I don't know. So I just didn't pick it up. And now I'm kind of like, Plus, there were just a few like really cool art vendors there that I wanted to get around to, but Saturday kind of got away from us. We were doing a lot of different things, like the different activities that were happening there, and all of a sudden, all the vendors were packing up. I'm like, crap! I never went back to this, you know. So I think just general, like, I wish I would have, you know, made more like smaller purchases at more booths than what I did. So
yeah. Next year.
Yeah. Next year, I'm not going to like blow my entire budget on VHSs right away. I just saw VHSs and I had horse blinders on, man. I got so excited. And then the $3 ones, I was like, oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Like, I couldn't stop.
I think all of mine came from the $3.
Oh, really? A few of mine came
actually
from
Darkman did not.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, a few of mine came from, I want to say I bought like 5 or 6 from the from the one that was different prices, but then the rest of them were the $3 ones.
Let's jump to Saturday because that was our most jam-packed day. I mean,
Yes.
morning we were pretty even keeled in terms of what we had going on. We didn't have a whole lot going on in the morning. Again, walking around vendors again, talking to Kelly again, talking to some of the other guests and vendors there. But we had a Scream Queens Q&A, which include Kelli Maroney and Brinky Stevens. So obviously Kelly from Chopping Mall Night of the Comet fame, Brinky, who was in Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bolorama, Slumber Party Massacre. And so they did about an hour-long panel with just the two of them talking about the films that they were in, the history of it, what they've seen changed. It was a fun Q&A, and they had a fun banter, and they had fun with the crowd. They were very grateful that Iowa had something like this, and
they were really nice. Like they genuinely loved being there, and it was cool to see that. You see, like, in media, cons being portrayed all the time as kind of like hassles for some of these people, like they don't want to be doing that. And you didn't get the vibe from like any of the guests or the vendors at this festival. Like, everybody wanted to be there. And one of my favorite parts about the Scream Queens Q&A is how zero fucks they gave about calling out like past directors and things like that. I was like, oh damn. Like, it was, I don't know, it was kind of funny and awesome, honestly, to see them kind of just be like, no, that guy was a dick, like, and they never said it like straight out like that, but they kind of like be like, oh yeah, they were always on about something or blah blah blah. And it was just, I don't know, it's kind of great. They were very candid, and it felt less like a formal Q&A and more of like an actual conversation with them, which was cool.
Yeah, that was again, I love those. That's one of my favorite things doing any convention or anything like that. It's just the panel discussions, because I don't know, people kind of open up a little bit more when you have
and
those.
You learn the most from those, honestly. There's so much that I was like, oh dang, like that's cool. I didn't realize that's how that worked, I don't know.
And then we had the Model Hunger feature film, which was a film starring guest of the convention, Lynn Lowry, directed by she was going to guest at this convention, Debbie Rochon, but she had to cancel, I believe. I would assume because of COVID, but I'm not fully sure. Anyway, she did a Zoom intro before the movie, which is very cool that she still put in that time and effort to at least make an appearance at the convention, especially before her movie. Model Hunger, though, what did you, honest opinion, Sam? We're going to be honest, just like the filmmaker panels. Honest opinion on the movie, because that's what we do.
Yep. So I thought that this movie had a lot of really cool ideas, a really interesting premise, and Lynn Lowry's performance in this is incredible. And the other lead of this, I can't remember her name, but she was very good too. These two leading ladies, like, they were fantastic. They put in really good performances. You do see the budget on this movie. Sound design is a little, well, sound design is not super great. The sound mixing, there's a lot of background noise in certain scenes, and some of the camera work's a little shoddy. The lighting's a little off. I understand that this was Debbie Rochon's first time behind the camera, which I think she has a lot of promise as a writer and a director. There are some great gore effects. It's just that the execution, I wonder how much of it was like kind of hindered by budget and what they couldn't do. Because some of the editing is just a little wonky and shaky. So like execution leaves a lot to be desired, and it gets a little repetitive in the back half, but it's like, honestly, I still gave it a 3 out of 5 because there's enough interesting ideas there, and that Lynn Lowry performance had me so hooked that I was like, I still would recommend people watch this, you know?
Yeah. This is one of those. So it is a Wild Eye movie, which I think many people, at least especially in the horror community, know of that name. They're the ones that you go to Walmart and you see the $10 movies every single week with this kind of cool looking poster, cool looking cover art, and you watch the movie and you're like, yeah, they made this for $5,000.
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily always a bad thing, because there are some really good Wild Eye movies. Like Velocipaster is one of the movies that they put out, and I love that movie. And this is one of those, again, that falls into that category of, you see where they're going with it. You can get some of these kind of classic horror actresses in this, and kind of let them have free reign. But again, the budget was just unfortunately not there. But Lynn Lowry is so good in this movie. She's dialing really everything up to 11. I mean, people most would know her from working with Cronenberg on Shivers, or Romero with the Crazies.
Yeah.
And so giving this type of performance in this movie really stands out of, why aren't these horror actresses and actors appearing in more mainstream type of movies? Because they can deliver these great performances. And I thought Tiffany Shepis is the other actress in this, and she hosts I'm going to blank on the podcast name, but she hosts it with Felissa Rose and Kane Hodder. Those three host a podcast together, and I can't believe I'm blanking on it. But anyway, and she's great on that. And I've seen her in just a couple of things, and I think every time she shows up, she's delivering a really great performance. And you're like, why is she not in more mainstream stuff? Why is she not kind of more of a household name? And that's kind of how I felt about Lynn Lowry in this movie. And my favorite part was the Q&A after. The Q&A after was with Lynn Lowry, and she was just this sweet lady who was just, kind of like, in my opinion, you walk down the street and you're like, this is the lady who lives down the street from you and brings you a batch of cookies because she made too many, and just said, here you go, here's some cookies, have a nice Saturday. She just had that vibe to her, and just holding a glass of wine the entire time doing the Q&A.
She was also very sassy,
but
and
super sassy. Yeah,
a little potty mouth too, which was kind of funny.
You can tell she like her first movie was with Cronenberg, and that kind of has helped shaped what she's done since then.
Yeah, I mean, she was hilarious. She was so witty, and just, the one thing, she was like, you can put blood anywhere on me, but you don't get that fucking stuff in my hair. It was like, oh my God. And she was so funny, and just, I asked her a couple questions, and she's a little scary, a little intimidating in certain aspects, but so much fun. I love that Q&A. That might have been one of my favorite things about the whole convention, because she's just maybe a little, I don't know if she was necessarily wine drunk or anything, but just the swirling the glass of wine in her hand as she just sardonically sends out these witty little comments. It was just the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
she has a future in stand-up if acting ever dries up for her.
I was gonna say, she's one of those people that I would love to see more of, just spoken word, just coming out and telling her story, just talking, and taking questions from she could tour just talking about her life and career. How she showed she shows her mom, who's 90 years old, all of her movies, and obviously did not approve of her working.
She fast-forwarded through one particular scene in Model Hunger, which was definitely a stomach turner.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, have you even eaten those fruit roll-ups since?
Oh yeah, the blue ones, but not the red ones. So that was definitely one of the highlights of the whole convention, was just Lynn Lowry's Q&A after. She was so great.
Yeah, she was fantastic.
Last up, we have how we closed the convention, and I think this is how they.
We gotta rewind, because we went to a Mexican restaurant and had really delicious food.
It was really good.
It was really good.
So after, as many know, one of the things you often forget to do at a convention, we need to eat. We need to eat
Yeah.
some food. So it was like, what, 8, 9 o'clock
Yeah.
at night
Yeah.
on a Saturday. And we're like, yeah, we should probably go get some food. And so we found a Mexican restaurant. It was delicious. It was delicious.
Yeah. It
Had
was
the
literally
biggest,
right around the corner.
had the
Yeah.
biggest glasses I've ever seen in a restaurant. They were like
Yeah.
gallon size.
Yeah.
And then
we got I got the vegetarian fajitas, and they bring out this this still sizzling thing that's like, I mean, I swear to God, right out of the oven, right out of the freaking oven. It shocked the hell out of me because it was so hot, but it was so good. That cauliflower was to die for. So sorry, I'm a little hungry right now.
I am too.
So I'm like, I thought about that thing, and I'm like, I got to talk about my fajita.
We'll talk about food afterwards.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Rocky Horror Picture Show right now, though.
Yes.
This is how they've ended the convention, at least for the last couple of years, if not since they started Halloweenapalooza. But
Right.
this was for all of us the first time watching it in a quote unquote theater setting with the props,
Right.
the yelling at the screen, that type of experience. The full Rocky Horror experience. We got the little survival kit bags that included like party hats and kazoos and newspapers and a piece of toast, gloves,
and toilet paper, which I brought home with me.
And again, one of the things,
I'm thrifty.
We were this was the first time we watched this as in like a theater setting. We had no idea what some of these props were for. I still don't know where they use the toilet paper.
No, me either. I have no idea. I don't. We made the mistake of like sitting up towards the front too. So it was like, oh, we can't just like follow what everybody else is doing. We're like 2 rows back. So.
And we were also sitting on the side of the room that was all newbies, whereas the other side was all people who had done this before. Yeah,
like ironically, like unintentionally, I believe, but like it was weird. It was like the left side of the room was all people who hadn't done this before, and then the right side were the people that had been doing it. But it was, it was an experience. I think personally for me, it's a thing. I don't like people talking over my movies, man. And I'm glad I did it. But like, the whole time I was kind of like, I just want to watch this movie. I don't know if I'm a midnight screening type of guy. I just don't know if I am. It was fun. I definitely am glad I did it. I don't know. I have a very like sensory thing when I watch movies. Like, you have to be quiet. Like, I can't.
I was always told the only way to watch it for the first time is in a theater setting, and I don't think that's true at all. You need to have watched this movie multiple times and then watch it in a theater setting. And
Maria
the rules.
had never seen the movie, and she was like, I don't even know what happened. I told her about, like, we were talking about how they were aliens at the end, and she's like, they were aliens at the end? Like, what? She's like, I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, and I think that's, again, you have to have watched this movie a couple times to know, and then also look up the rules, like that type of thing. Like there's a part that I knew about.
Than just our quick Google that we did.
Yeah. There's a part I knew about, and I don't think you guys were happy when it started happening. And I'm like, I should have told you guys. Like when they yell asshole at Brad and slut at Janet. And I'm like, whoops, my bad. I should have told you guys that's part of the thing.
And you know what? It's fine. Like, it is what it is. Like, I guess that's how people. I don't like that word. I just don't. It has such
asshole?
a like. No, the other one.
Well, she is though in the movie,
like,
Sam. You can't deny that.
But she's not.
She is.
No, she literally she sleeps with 2 dudes.
She sleeps with 3 of them.
She sleeps with Brad.
No, that's true. But she wanted to. She was going to, so it's implied that she wanted to. Well, at least everybody cheers for Tim Curry.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. Like, what I mean, I don't know. I just don't particularly think that part has aged well. I could do without it. But that's
At least you
That's
can say
on
you've
me
gone
for
through
not.
the experience.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I love Rocky Horror Picture Show. You should definitely try doing it in the theater setting at least once, because you're probably not a weirdo like me. You probably actually enjoy it, but and not that I didn't enjoy it.
Mhm.
It just I'd rather watch it on my own.
Yeah, and that makes me again, these people have been doing the Rocky Horror for years now, doing it like that. That makes me wonder how. Again, I've never been to one at the Orpheum Theater in Sioux Falls. How they do
Yeah.
it there, I'm curious what it's going to be like for the room.
Yeah.
What we are going to be allowed to do and not do for that screening.
Yeah.
So I
Which
don't know.
I don't know anything. I don't know what to do in the room either. I'm just going because
I hope we
I'm
can.
just going because of peer pressure.
I hope we can bring spoons.
We might be able to. I don't know.
I hope so. I'll help clean up.
I told Steven if oh no, wait, it wasn't for the room. It was actually for Rocky Horror. I was like, I will literally be on the cleanup crew if you play Rocky Horror at the State. And even if the State did play Rocky Horror, I'd still do it in a theater setting. I didn't dislike the theater setting. I just it wasn't. I think it was just a culture shock. I just wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, I think if you don't know what to expect going in, it's going to take you off guard. Of oh my, they're talking the entire time and
Yeah.
acting with the movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's jump to I don't know what else do we want to talk? Oh, the last day, I guess we stopped in Des Moines on our way back through Iowa. We stopped at a comic book shop, picked up some
Mayhem Comics.
horror comic goodies. I picked
Yes.
up the final issue of Count Crowley that I've been looking for a year and a half because Rainbow Comics doesn't have it in Sioux Falls. Dang it, Rainbow Comics. I still like you guys anyway. But I picked up that, a book called Dracula, Mother Effer, which I just read last night. I don't know. I didn't love it.
You tried it.
I tried
I
it.
got one called Vampirella versus Reanimator, and that book is weird, man.
Did you read it? Did you read it yet?
I haven't finished it, but I read the first issue in the trade or whatever, and it's weird.
Right.
I like it.
We'll
I like it so far.
We'll do a swap once you're done with it, and I'll give you a Dracula. We'll read the books. We should do a horror comic episode.
Yeah, we should. I can't wait to dig into Count Crowley too, because I got the first 2 issues of that. So
listen up, a comic book look, boys. We want to do a crossover. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, Tom. All right.
Oh wait, yeah, this isn't Patreon.
This is not Patreon.
I have to switch gears.
I'm gonna make sure I tag Tom Devine in this, just so he knows we want to do horror comics with him.
Yeah, tell him to fast forward to the 42 mark if he doesn't want to hear everything.
He'll want to hear it all. And then the highlight, maybe besides the VHS and Kelli Maroney for Sam, was the food we ate. Again,
so
food.
We'll
end on food.
Yeah, we'll end on food because I'm hungry and I'm gonna eat right after this anyways. Yeah, we got to go to Dirt Burger in Des Moines, which is an all-vegan burger joint. And it's delicious, and I love it. And it has this burger called the Volcano that will give you the face sweat so bad, but it is the most delicious thing I've ever tasted. I ordered 2 burgers because I always do from Dirt Burger because I never know when I'm going to be able to get Dirt Burger again. So I have to eat as much of it as humanly possible. So I also got the Cobra Kai, which is the only burger on their main menu that I hadn't tried before, and that was delicious as well. I got chili cheese fries, which were amazing. And I got dirt balls, which are seasoned potato balls that are just delicious. And it's only one location in Des Moines, but Dirt Burger, if you're listening to this, I really want you to put a location in Sioux Falls. It'll be really detrimental to my wallet, but I don't care. What did you think, Casey? I know sometimes I'm like, oh, this place is great, and I'm vegan, and I bring people, and they're like, oh, it's okay, Mm-hmm. What did you think of Dirt Burger?
For my first ever meatless burger, it was good.
Yeah.
I could tell
you got the barbecue one, right?
Yeah. And I bit into it, and I'm like, yeah, this is definitely, there's no meat in this. I can definitely tell
Yeah.
that. But I'm like, it's
Yeah.
at least
'Cause it's
flavorful and has a lot of flavor to it, which is the biggest part when, especially if you don't have like the meat,
yeah.
like with it, you
'Cause
got to have flavor.
Dirt Burger doesn't do like Impossible patties or Beyond Beef patties. Like their stuff is their own like it's a house made patty out of different grains and veggies. So like it's definitely like I could get you a vegan burger that tastes very much more like just a regular burger, but Dirt Burger is not that. They're definitely like specialty, but that's what I love about them. The next time we're in Des Moines, though, we'll stop by Zombie Burger because I know you wanted to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And they
We'll have to
also
do it.
have a vegan burger.
But Dirt Burger had a delicious milkshake. I will say.
Oh, God, yeah. Their milkshakes are awesome.
It was very good. All right. Do we have anything else we want to throw out for the weekend of Halloweenapalooza?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
No, I think we covered it all. It was so much fun. The hotel was very creepy. It was very atmospheric.
It was, but the lady at the front desk was a sweetheart, so that
Yeah, she
helped
was.
us like take off some of the edge of we're in a creepy
It would've
old hotel that's supposedly haunted.
It would have been worse if she was like some old crone who was like grumpy, and I would have been like, "Oh God, what are we doing?" But yeah, it was cool, man, and like yeah, they had Halloween decorations up all over the place, and yeah,
I don't know.
loved it.
I'm so glad we made the trip. So glad we finally went to Halloweenapalooza. Can't wait to go
Yeah,
again next year. Like this, that's
yeah.
an obvious.
Oh, for sure.
They have great guests every single year and great events going on. So, yeah, maybe we might bring Backlot with us one of these times. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
we'll see.
because I think even if you're not like a quote unquote horror fan, you're still gonna find a lot to like there because it's so much fun, you
hmm
know? Like, and it's
And we
not
didn't even
just
hit all
horror
the
stuff.
events. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's like it's just a celebration of the Halloween season in general, and I don't know. I feel like there's at least stuff for all ages there. There were some kids there that seemed to be having a pretty good time. So,
Definitely. All
including
right.
one like probably 13 or 14-year-old girl that was at Model Hunger that I'm sure is scarred now.
Or the comedian that probably thought you were 13 or 14 years old.
Yeah. We skipped.
I'm sorry. We skipped her. Yeah. How do we usually end this? We usually end with a fan slashing. Yeah, we'll save that for Blake.
Yeah.
Blake, we'll come back with
Yeah.
Blake. Maybe we'll think of something before then with a fan slash.
Yeah. My fan slash is I want
Rob Schneider in a horror movie.
Yeah, Rob Schneider in a horror movie.
The Adam
Aren't
Sandler.
all Rob
the Adam
Schneider movies
Sandler.
horror movies?
The Sandler crew in a horror movie. Maybe we'll do that.
Maybe. That would be cool. I would do that. The Grown Ups cast in a horror movie.
Did you? Okay, before we end this, did you ever read that Grown Ups 3 like fan script where it turned it into a horror movie?
No.
I'll try to find it. Corey
Okay.
Jacobson sent it to me, and we both read it, and we're like, "Yeah, why isn't this the movie?"
That's
Because it's
awesome.
like this is the end, but with like the Grown Ups cast.
Oh yeah, I would totally want to read that. That's cool.
Yeah, I'll try to find it. Anyway, Sam, you want to give us the final sign-offs, plugs, final business?
Yeah. You can follow us. I mean, this is SlashLot. It's kind of an offshoot of Backlot. So you can follow Backlot at, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd HQ. It's all at Backlot605. You can subscribe to us on Apple, Stitcher, Google, whatever that one is, YouTube, and Amazon, apparently.
Spotify.
Amazon Music. Okay. And you can support us on Patreon, where we just recorded an episode for the new James Bond movie, No Time to Die. And next week, we will be dropping an all-spoiler discussion on Halloween Kills, which we are all going to be watching today. We're very excited about that. So, yeah. And at the end of the month, we're going to do essentially like we're going to do another kind of big recent watches, where I think most of the focus is going to be what we saw at the State this month. The State Theater has a lot of cool horror programming. tonight after we watch Halloween Kills, we're going to be going and seeing The Fly late night at the State. So we'll be talking about that movie and discussing the other things like the Japanese movie House, which we also all saw at the State. I can't wait to talk about that one. So it'll be a really cool discussion. Pretty much anything horror related that we saw at the State Theater, we're going to be talking about. And there's a ton of it to talk about, especially in the last 2 weeks. So that might, I'm going to say you guys are going to get that episode early November, so we have Halloween weekend to be able to talk about what we did for that weekend and talk about what late night movie we watched at the State that weekend. So look out, I would say the first week of November, and then it'll just be 2 episodes in November, I guess. This is kind of your little in between in October, a little fun little bonus little episode. We're not on a set structure for this show, so I will end it because I think Sam's headphones have gone out. They just died, fitting with the theme of a horror podcast. So I'll take care of closing out the show for us, Sam, for everybody listening there. Thank you all for listening. This has been our episode on Halloweenapalooza 2021. We'll see y'all next time on the SlashLot. Spook ya later.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.